How's it going, everyone? It's your boy Dak908, aka the Dig Dug himself. You're surely back again with some more Monster Hunter Generations gameplay, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be fighting the Furious Rajang. Now, the Furious Rajang is different from that of the standard Rajang, due in part with its color. That's the first way a lot of people can tell the difference. If you remember, Rajang is innately black. His fur is black, that is. And then when he goes in rage mode, he has like a nice golden color to him. A lot of people christen him like Goku because Goku, when he turns Super Saiyan, he goes nice and yellow and blonde. Same thing with Rajang. He goes from black to blonde. Now, Furious Rajang is permanently yellow. So you can say that he is a Rajang that's in permanent rage mode. Granted, Furious Rajang has his own rage mode where his fur does stick up quite high and there's electricity staticking off his body. Now, one thing I will say about the Furious Rajang is actually really unique. He is the only monster that doesn't get tired. Like, he has no fatigue. He will be 100% the entire fight. But before we get into further things like that, let's tone it back a little bit. Let's go talk about the weaknesses and whatnot. Now, the Furious Rajang, his number one weakness and practically his only weakness is ice. He has the same hit zone, same hit multipliers, same everything of that of the standard Rajang. So if you want to check out the Rajang video that I have in the description, please do so that way you can hear more about that, because this video isn't as long as the other one is, and I talk about it a bit more and more in depth back then. But he has a couple other things about him. The fact that his only weakness is ice. He has this really weird ability, I guess you could say, that his standard variant, standard Rajang, whom of which can only be trapped when he is not enraged. Pitfall trap, that is. He can get pitfall trap when he's not enraged. When he is enraged. The Furious Rajang can only be pitfall trap when he is enraged. It's kind of backwards. I probably got that wrong. I apologize, but understand that if you know when to pitfall trap a Rajang, you must think the opposite when you want to pitfall trap a standard Rajang. Granted, shock traps work all the time. That's another little weird thing about the guys, but that's that for that. His armor is actually really interesting. It's actually pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. If you want to make his armor and the rest of his gear, I'd recommend it. Great stuff. His armor has composed, attack up medium, and the negative ability taunt. Now, granted, he has a couple slots in the armor. When I say a couple, I legitimately only mean like a couple. He has two. You can use these slots to actually, get rid of the taunt ability. A lot of people like to keep taunt in there. I, for one, actually like keeping taunt on because it really doesn't matter to me that much. It doesn't bother me, especially when I'm hunting in groups. It doesn't bother me all that much. Allows you to actually put more, hits on the monster because he's focusing on you a bit more. So that's cool. Also, if you're like a lance like myself, it's not an issue, especially with like mega dash shoes. You can block all day. But speaking of lancing and whatnot, these are weapons. His weapons, they don't have the attack of a standard Rajang weapon would have. Standard Rajang's weapons normally reach up to roughly 200, 220, things like that. His are kind of lower in terms of attack, but the one thing that's actually really outstanding, for one, the aesthetic. They look amazing. These are some amazing looking weapons. They look great. They honestly do. Their element is really high as well. Now, for the most part, most of the affinity on all the weapons are positive, and positive by a decent margin, 20, 30 sometimes, really high like that. So if you use like a crit set, you can get some serious critical damage on the guy. Honestly, looking right at Astalos in terms of ability. Look at his weapons, kind of close to that of Astalos with a different design. The sharpness on it are really good as well. His hammer, the Demon Lord hammer, it actually has natural white from the jump. You don't even need sharpness 1 or you don't need anything because the sharpness is maxed out. It has a little bit of white, and then progressively as you upgrade it gets a little bit more. Same with the attack and the thunder and whatnot. But remember, the thunder is really high for most of the weapons. Well, for like all the weapons. It has positive affinity for most of them. The attack isn't as high as the standard variant, but the attack is manageable. The sharpness is actually really good as well. Some of these weapons have slots in them, so if you're a fan of having slotted weapons, go for it. But with that being said, let's talk about a couple other things about this guy. We talked about how he's immune to pitfalls in certain situations, how he's a monster that does not actually suffer from fatigue. Let's talk a little bit more about a couple other things. Now, the number one thing that people like to get when fighting this guy, they like to get his horns. The fact that he doesn't actually get tired make getting his horns a little bit, harder to do. So when I fight this guy, I really like coming in here with a lot of shock traps, that way he stays steady. Paralysis weapons are really good as well. Since he's never tired, he's always, in for the action. He's always wanting to hit you in the face. you kind of have to be ready for that, because I mean he's already a monster that people have a lot of trouble fighting. So imagine fighting a Rajang standard who never gets tired, who's not always enraged, but can quickly be enraged because of just who he is. Another thing about him though, to mitigate some of this super rage, some of this super not getting tired, is that he tends to fall over quite a bit. Now when he does stumble over, he doesn't actually fall over for a long period of time, but he does it more often than not. I had to do a little bit of research when fighting this guy. When I soloed him, I actually knocked him over like 10 times. It's insane. I've never knocked a monster over as many times as I did with Rajang. So if you are getting beaten up by the Rajang, you know, hold fast, get a couple more hits in there. Odds are you're close to stumbling him over, and you can, you know, either capitalize on that or you can run away, heal up really quickly, because odds are you're gonna need that heal, because this guy he gives no Fs. He's pretty strong when it comes to dealing out the damage. But honestly, the differences between Standard Rajang and Fierce Rajang is the fact that he's golden in color all the time. His armor is a little bit different in, you know, aesthetic. Same with his weapons. He doesn't get tired. He is more likely to be enraged than that of a Standard Rajang. His trap, you know, mix-set is a little bit different, whereas he can only be pitfalled when he's enraged, I believe, and as opposed to being pitfalled Standard Rajang when he's not enraged. Other than that, that's the difference between the Standard Rajang and the Fierce Rajang. Hopefully you guys found this video relatively helpful. I apologize if it wasn't so much helpful, but this is what we got. The video wasn't long either. I mean, I wanted it for this kind of purpose, that way you guys can get the information as quick as you can without a prolonged fight. But with that being said, it's been your boy Dak908, aka the Dig Dug himself. Guys, let me know how I did. Good video. I'm trying. I'm starting to try my best. I'm trying a little harder to do these videos better. I actually had like a mock script to do this for you guys, so let me know how it's going. If not, we can adjust more stuff. But with that being said, take care. Desire Sensor may forever be in your favor.